Welcome back. And if you have followed me this far on my Stranger Things journey this season, you will know that this is my review of season 4, episode 4. And the rules so far are this. I'm a blind film critic, so I can't tell you how cool the gore looks in this. This is one of the less gory episodes, by the way. I mean, it has repetitive gore, like gore we've seen before. But I don't know that this was the goriest episode. But, I consider anything that happened in a previous episode to be fair game, spoiler-wise. Because I am doing it episodically, so you're the one that clicked on episode 4. If you're not ready for an episode 4 review, go click on 1, 2, or 3, or wherever you're at. So, last when we left our gang off, Max had just sort of uncovered the best and only piece of information they really have, which is how to predict who is being chosen. After Chrissy and then after Fred, like who could possibly be next. By looking through their files in the school, she uncovered a series of sort of similar complaints that they were having about headaches and nightmares and nosebleeds. And she realized, oh shit, I've been having all of these. And then that's when we realized, oh shit, Max has been targeted. And at the final moment of the episode, she's standing staring at the grandfather clock, just like Fred was. And my mouth dropped and I died a little inside. And I was like, the one character, no, my God, please not Max. Like, there's so many other people. Like, I don't know what they're doing with Will this season, but I mean, anyone in California right now, although after this episode, I will say the California crew got slightly more interesting, but I'll talk about that briefly in a second. So, props in this episode go to not just Max for everything that she goes through once she realizes that she's next on the list. The whole episode deals with the sense of she is resigned herself to impending doom. She knows that there's nothing that's going to stop it. She's heard what was described, and it's sort of like a force that kills. And after seeing what happened to her brother in season 3, she's basically given up. And I mean, not totally. She's willing to help them for as long as she's alive, but she does a lot of like end of life preparation, and it's really sort of a morbid experience, this episode. But it's a great performance from the actress that plays Max. Also fantastic this episode were Robin and Nancy, who went off on their own little adventure to get some information that they hoped would be useful, and also bring in more so that they can defeat this beast. And figure out a little bit more. Interestingly, 11 is not present in this episode. I don't know if that's a spoiler to say that somebody's never in an episode, is not in the episode at all. I didn't catch 11. I didn't catch Justin, the basketball player. Justin, right? Is it Justin? Justin and Eddie. I want to say Eddie or Ethan or whatever that other kid's name was. Some of those characters just didn't pop up. The story didn't need to veer over to them for this episode. So we just kind of stuck with who we were following. And so we followed Max and the gang, and from that, Robin and Nancy break off, and they sort of go in a different direction than Max and the rest of the gang. Max and Lucas and Dustin, and both they're trying to figure out how to stop this from happening to Max, who's communicating to them what it is that she's going through, so that way, you know, they have something to use to help maybe save the next person. So like the images that she sees, she's trying to be as helpful as possible because his character's badass. So, love Max. And we do get to continue to follow up on the perpetual quest for Hopper. That continues to happen. Um, and they get up to Nome and they meet Yuri, and some stuff continues to happen there, and that story gets moved along. Um, Yuri's annoying. Um, and the rest of the California kids, um, they are being watched by the agents that are also with that are with 11. Like she's off somewhere, and then there's like an agent that's been left babysitting these kids. And since Argyle is not an official part of the family, they're trying to use Argyle as a way to get themselves out so they can get back to Hawkins and help the rest of their friends and help Elle. They just don't want to be on house arrest for this entire event. They've had 3 seasons of fighting this stuff, so they feel like they have a good knowledge, a good base to start with on fighting this stuff. So that's sort of where we're at. That's pretty spoiler free. The big stuff. You'll get the big stuff. That's where everybody is, and the episode is an hour and 20 minutes long, so it's kind of like a mini movie. And I thought it was great. I thought, like I said, for episode 3, I felt like they were moving chess pieces where they needed to move them so that it would set up stuff for episode 4, and that's exactly what happened. This episode is very Max centric. Spends a lot of time with her and her dealing with her situation, and how the show handled it is very morbid, but it feels also very honest. Like this is exactly what somebody might do in her situation, and absolutely a standout performance from her. I'll also say Robert Englund pops up, and that was a nice treat. I won't say as who or what or where, but Robert Englund is a pleasant surprise. So have fun with that. And I think this is probably the most screen time Hopper's had all season, like maybe. So that was also a pleasant surprise. But then again, when you throw like an extra 20 minutes onto the episode that you don't normally get on a hour-long TV show, you have plenty of time to give him a little bit more screen time there. So that was nice. It was a good episode. I was pleasantly surprised. I do feel like it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is exactly the setup for this. I am going into episode 5. I'm a little concerned again for characters in certain places and for certain reasons. I want to see the resolution. Interestingly, less so for Max and now for other characters. I love how this show is able to shift so suddenly and other characters are in danger. And so you go from being like, okay, Max is in mortal danger to holy shit, like on the other side. You're like, oh my God, are they all going to be in danger? So yeah. But, they're part of the crew. This is our main cast, and Stranger Things is a little bit more known for killing off short-term characters and not long-term characters. If this was The Walking Dead, I'd be a little bit more afraid. Although The Walking Dead hasn't killed off a long-term cast member in a while. It's been a minute on The Walking Dead. When their biggest death last season and this last what do we have? 16 episodes this year. The last 16 episodes I think was Alden. I think that was the biggest death we had in 16 episodes of season 11 so far. I'm really not, I mean, Back in the day, they used to just like every other week, some major character was dying, and now it feels like everybody is surviving until the end. So, yeah, Stranger Things is a little bit like that, where I'm not actually that scared for our characters. If I fall in love with a character who's just been introduced this season, I'd be more worried about their survival rate. So, but let me know what you think. I'm gonna give this episode of Stranger Things, I'm gonna bump it back up to an A. The action was there, the intensity, the emotion. Max just nails everything in this episode. So great stuff. I hope you guys enjoy it. Throw me a like, throw me a subscribe if this is your first time watching my channel. I don't know what else to say about the audio description at this point. I thought it was great. You know, it's the same stuff. I hate to say it. I mean, there's really only like one sort of newish thing that gets described to us. Otherwise, we get flashes of imagery we've already sort of seen before, and it gets re-described to us. It's the same monster, you know, with the same umbilical cords and the same two dead bodies that are mangled. We get flashes of those. So yeah, I mean, it does a good job. There's a couple of light action sequences that are well described. So it's pretty safe narration this episode because it's repetitive. But it was good. So I didn't notice any weird changes in the sound in episode 4. So that's all good. So watch it. Keep watching Stranger Things, and I'm going to keep recapping it. And you can check me out on macthemovieguy.com. You can check out the audio description project for what has audio description and where to find it. And the adna.org, the adna.org. For, like, you can look up Tandy Alexander and see what else she's described if you like her narration on Stranger Things. So, that's it for this episode. I don't know what the next recap will be that you see, but it won't. I'm not going to do back-to-back Stranger Things, so it'll probably be The Boys episode 2. That's what I'm predicting. That'll be the next thing you see me recap after this. So, until next time.